Good evening, Chris. How are you?
Robert, I'm going to tell you how I am.
How are you?
I think I'm sunburned.
Oops.
I know, Rob, don't. I don't know
Be careful in that
and I
midday
know.
sun.
Well, you know what? I'm kind of, you've seen me, I'm quite red anyway, so it's hard to know whether it's just high blood pressure or sun. I don't know. It's one of the two.
It's a lot of high blood pressure.
A lot of high blood pressure. I'm sitting here thinking, have I got it right this week with regards to sound? Hopefully. Have I got it?
You're not on a wooden chair, are you?
No, on it. This, do you know what? I've been looking for this chair downstairs for 2 days. I'm sitting on it.
There you go. Perfect.
Rob, I'm
so
good.
It's the weekly dose. We're
20
going to do
minutes.
some news
20 minutes
stories.
again? Is
We're
it 20
going to do
minutes?
20 minutes. Yeah, we've got the counter is counting.
Okay.
I have one story.
Rob, you're getting rubbish at this.
Well, one story that's very interesting.
But is it very long? Please, God, let it be 15 minutes long. Oh, no, it can't be 15 minutes long. It has to be 10 minutes long.
Well, do you want me to start?
I surely do. Look, my mic just fell off, would you believe? After me boasting it.
I believe it.
There you go. It's back on. You there?
Yeah. So this is a story that we covered a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an addition to it.
No?
So if you remember correctly, back on Instagram, that there was a photographer and a model who did a test, and they posted it up on Instagram, and it just happened to have a Volvo in the background. And Volvo contacted the photographer and said, we'd like to use those images.
You can have a free car. Was that the one?
They never said anything about a free car. Nothing. And the guy responded by emailing them back with his rates and everything, and he didn't hear anything back. So then a couple weeks later, he looks on Instagram, and there are his photos. And Volvo had just gone ahead and used them.
Cheeky monkeys.
Yeah. So he took him to court.
Oh,
But
did he?
I
remember this. Yeah, I remember. Okay.
Yeah. What first happened was, he sent them like not a cease and desist, but he just said, you need to take those down.
Yeah, be good.
And basically they didn't want to, and they felt that they were, public domain because they were sitting on Instagram.
Yeah.
And the thing is but then Volvo sent him back a letter, a real nasty letter, aggressive letter, saying that there was an accompanying video that he had done of the same shoot.
Yeah.
And they were threatening him with some sort of trademark infringement because he had used this Volvo in his video. So it gets all like totally, messed up. Yeah, totally messed up. But the real, so he ended up suing Volvo and the model. Now, the model sued Volvo because she was up for a contract to do another car manufacturer.
Oh.
And it was supposed to be an exclusive.
Okay.
So this model wasn't supposed to be working on any other car campaigns. So meanwhile, Volvo put her images up with the Volvo on their Instagram page. So obviously car company B said, we don't want to hire you now
You're not exclusive anymore, yeah.
Yeah, because you're standing in front of a Volvo.
Yeah.
So she lost all that work.
She had money she had to get some money from somewhere.
Well, not yet. She hasn't.
Oh no, I thought you were going to tell me a happy ending.
No happy endings.
Oh, Rob. You're such a tease. I thought you were going to tell me they had won against, and I like Volvo, I have to say, but only because they're so boxy. I don't like the new ones so much, but right here, the boxy ones. Do you know the ones I mean?
Yeah, the 2 Series, 240.
Yeah, beautiful, yellow.
Yeah, I used to have a couple of them. I love them. I would buy another one in a second. I would buy almost any Volvo, rear-wheel drive Volvo. I'd buy it right up to the V70s.
Rear-wheel drive? Rear-wheel drive? No. How do they manage in the snow?
They're Volvos. What's snow? We live in Northern Ireland. There's only 2 days of
I don't
snow
mean
anyways.
here. I don't mean here.
They're Swedish cars. They work in the snow. They do.
Maybe it's just Swedish drivers work in the snow.
Mm.
Rob, guess what I've done?
What'd you do now, Chris?
I have on that. I'm such a tool. I have made my tripod. I was trying to mimic your view, so we look kind of similar.
Mm.
But by doing that, I have lowered my back legs and not lowered my front legs, so it's kind of this up shot, right? But I've put the tripod, the front leg at the front, so I'm sitting here looking at it, and it's making me feel really uncomfortable that I think the camera, at the slightest movement, is going to tip back.
Well, then don't move.
I don't know. But if it does happen, we can send it away to Game for a Laugh, whatever you call it. You've been framed, not Game for a Laugh. That was your man. Anyway, but that's very interesting, Rob. I hope that is that. Your,
Well,
is that?
we're not done.
Oh,
We're not done.
what?
No. Is that seagulls?
Yeah. That's.
Did you have a lot of daylight flowing in your window, or are you
Nope.
being lit by daylight?
No. That's. I have a small.
Is your camera white balanced to daylight because you're using your proper LED?
You're such a dick. It is
No?
balanced to the same temperature as the LED. How's that?
Okay, good.
What do you think of that? That's 3.3, by the way, just so you know.
3.3.
Yeah, 3.3.
What's 3?
3300 Kelvin. Think of that. What do you think of that?
Okay, so you're a little off tungsten, but you're close enough.
Close enough. But I didn't want to go tungsten. You know why?
Because you want it just a little cooler.
I want a little bit cooler, but you know why that is?
100 degrees.
Well, because I didn't get the Fonzarelli cap in school for nothing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know what the Fonz is, go and look at it. It's really, really good. It's about a guy who hangs out in the toilets, but he's really, really cool.
Yeah, he's a 35-year-old mechanic who hangs around teenagers.
Yeah, and has meetings in toilets.
Yeah, and lives over top of one of those teenagers' garage.
That's right. And then it went on. Then there was
nothing creepy there.
There was Chachi. There was Chachi on after that, wasn't there? Chachi and
Joni.
Chachi was cool. Chachi was young and cool. I mean, Henry Fink.
Anyway,
sorry.
So Volvo. Yeah, I'll have to put a timestamp on that.
Well, what did I say?
We just went off for 5 minutes on Chachi and Joni.
That's okay. People would love that, Rob. I'll put a link. We'll put a link to Happy Days.
Put a link to Chachi and Joni.
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday.
So anyhow,
go ahead.
This poor model and this poor photographer. So Volvo, this is the gist that's happened this week now. So Volvo says...
Where are you getting all this from?
It's news.
It's very good.
So Volvo says that due to the Instagram terms and conditions, their lawyers, Volvo's lawyers, say that Instagram's terms and conditions allow them to repurpose any work that is published on Instagram in public. So if you have an open account, open Instagram account, and it's not private, basically Volvo's attorneys feel that they have free reign over anything that you publish, they can repurpose for themselves. Now, supposedly Instagram has already come back to that and said, no, that's not the way it works.
Instagram has, okay, good, because I'm going to say...
It's not the way it works.
That's not my reading of it.
Yeah. So now the shoe is on the other foot, and I'm gonna have to wait and see what happens. But Volvo doesn't. It's not even Volvo. It's got to be like some right wing attorney that's just gone way off. It's a PR nightmare. That's what it is.
But cars have
for Volvo.
Cars have two wings. They have a left wing and a right wing. That's why I like driving them, because you're kind of in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. See what I did there, Rob?
Ba-dum bump.
That's a nice story, because it means that Instagram are on the side of the photographer in a sense, and model.
Well, this is and it's also another occurrence that Instagram can use to do that whole reposting thing.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So that people can't just embed your images into their accounts.
Yeah.
So hopefully they sort it all out. And you know what? Everybody should be compensated. The photographer should be compensated. The model definitely should
100%.
be compensated because she's lost work.
She's lost work.
Maybe the photographer hasn't lost work or anything, but they are his images.
But listen,
he should be paid for that.
There's no such thing as bad advertising in a sense, is there?
Well, Chris, if it was me and I was a photographer, I really wouldn't count on that advertising as being something,
No, I know.
Being positive.
No, it's not going to.
Clients are going to look at that and go, well, he's the guy that took Volvo to court.
Yeah, but he's also the guy whose images are being looked at, and somebody's going to say, well, actually, I quite like... Do you know what? If Volvo were clever, they'd get him to shoot the thing. They'd restage the whole thing in a kind of...
pay for it all?
In a cool... And pay for it all.
And pay the model?
Yeah. If I was in Volvo now, I'd be saying, hold on, guys, let's do it.
That's what a PR agency would do.
Yeah.
They'd go, okay, guys, this is what you need to do.
Yeah. The model is going to be the photographer.
We need to set all this straight.
Yeah.
We need to set this straight. We need to make it right. Right now, you guys look like goofballs. Like big, fat goofballs.
I'm going to write to them. There's nobody fat in Sweden.
Just maybe some Swedish goofballs. It's not even a Swedish company anymore. It's owned by a Chinese company.
No.
Yeah, it's owned by a Chinese car company. It got sold. Is it?
You serious? You're ruining.
Is it owned by Geely?
You're ruining.
I think they bought it like 4 or 5 years ago.
Nick, you know what? Next, you're going to say that
Ford sold it.
Next, you're going to say that Henry Winkler isn't American.
He isn't American.
You're going to say he isn't American. You're going to ruin all my dreams. Or Chachi was a girl.
He's American.
Okay, good. At least we can go home safely with that one thought.
One part.
Henry Winkler is American. Tag him in this.
He's Jewish.
Is he Jewish?
He's a Jewish American. Yeah. Once he was Jewish.
He's had a very sad life. I don't want to go into it, but he's had a sad life.
You think?
No, he has. He's had bad things happen to his family.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, really? You sound as though
I don't want to talk about that on the air.
Oh, of course you don't. But you sound as though you know stuff. Oh, see if it's not a Las Vegas story, Rob. I swear to God, I'm going to marry you.
No, I don't have a Las Vegas story about Henry Winkler.
I don't get into Henry Winkler. Right, do you want me to tell you my story?
Yes, please.
Right, I promise next week I wouldn't do this again, but I can't not do
it. Olivia's outside the window.
Is she? She doing her stuff again?
She's wearing a bikini top and a cowboy hat.
No, she's not.
Yep, she is. Here, I'm going to take a picture. Let me just take a picture of you in your bikini top. No, she wouldn't.
She wouldn't let you?
No.
I'm not surprised. We've had this discussion before. I have never seen the pair of yous in the same space. I would not be surprised if it was
Was that Woody Allen movie?
Yeah, well, it sounds like I'm thinking more Bates Motel, to be fair with you.
Okay.
I can imagine you sitting in your rocking chair. Okay, Olivia, time to put the bra on. Not a dog, and not a partner. You're just sitting there by yourself.
Yeah,
making up stories about Volvo.
I've got speakers in the distance with dog sounds.
Yes. Did you know that? You know my traveller family down the country. Whenever you drive into their compound, the farmer next door has about 20 speakers hooked up to dog barks. So whenever you drive in, the dog barks last for about 20 minutes. I took BBC Three down for a dog. They couldn't believe it. Can you believe that somebody would do that? They'd bark. That's how they got Noriega. That's how they drove Noriega mad by the sound of slaughtered horses. Do you know that? I'll tell you that story.
Tell me that story later.
That's another story. How you doing?
Chris, what's your story?
Rob, that's really easy. Are we pretending there's been no break, or are we just going into it?
Well, we're going right into it.
Okay.
If you see this, Chris, this is my glass of old iced tea.
What
Right
are you
here.
drinking? You drinking bourbon?
No. I'm drinking old iced tea. This is very strong iced tea. It's cold. I'm going to add it to my orange juice.
Yes, Rob. If you can see mine, I'm drinking Ribena. Are we allowed to mention things? Are we allowed to mention products?
Yeah,
Other
sure.
berry drinks are available.
Ribena is our new sponsor. Haven't you heard that?
Rob, let me tell you about
This
my story.
episode brought to you by Ribena.
Because he's very, very good.
I always think of Retsina.
We're funny, Rob, aren't we? I'm funny.
Did you ever have any Retsina?
It's Retsina.
You've had Retsina.
What's Retsina? That's an American thing, Canadian thing.
Retsina.
Oh. Sounds like a disease of the balls.
No, it's Greek wine.
Greek wine? Oh, God, I've insulted the Greeks.
Sweet Greek wine.
Ooh, I'm sorry, Greek people. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't know. I thought it was like, I actually thought it was a complication.
Retsina. Oh my gosh.
I probably have.
Yeah, you don't ever want to drink a lot of Retsina.
I'm not allowed to talk about Greek things, Rob. Because I went away on a really lovely holiday.
Is that band still on?
No, I went a really nice holiday years ago before I met Leah. Beautiful holiday.
Don't talk about it.
Oh, Rob, don't.
We'll talk about it off air.
It was the best holiday.
Yeah.
I don't mean from any complicated way. Just the scenery, or, Gerald Durrell, all that's my family and all that. We went. It was just the best. Scoop. I'll tell you about it sometime. But now, listen to this, okay? Wrap your ears around this, because
what's your story, Chris?
Well, I'm going to take you on an adventure from last time. So last time we were talking about Magnum and Getty and how they were using keywords with regards to, well, they weren't. Let's see, it makes it sound simple. They were taking photographs of kids, okay, and then they were using keywords like 13 to 18-year-old and vagina, all in the same sentence. Okay, so I thought to myself last week, okay, Magnum's been caught out. Surely they'll hold their hands in the air and say, okay, we have royally messed up. We brought stuff with us from the 70s or the 60s or whatever, and we'll hold our hands up. No. What they did is they all put on ostrich suits. They brought some sand into the office and they stuck their heads in it. Okay.
Nice.
So people like Tom Seymour have been reporting on this now. I know we talk about Tom all the time. Tom's a sterling guy, and there's no way he'd be up then that wouldn't be right. Also, Duck. We've talked about Duck before. I put a link down. Follow him on Twitter. But essentially, here we have, and here's Andy Day been retweeted by Duck on Twitter, and it says Magnum no longer show keywords alongside image searches. Search results, probably because of the vulva incident yesterday. However, you can still find keywords in the metadata. For example, this image by Alex Soth is tagged 13 to 18-year-old and vagina. And it's Alex Soth's photograph of a young cheerleader jumping in the air, feet up. That cheerleader thing where they do the
Now, would Alex have keyworded that?
No, there's no way.
That seems very strange for him to keyword the word vagina.
I could wholeheartedly say
in a bad taste joke.
No, absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not.
So it's a photo editor. There was a rogue photo editor who was keywording.
Well, I don't know how rogue if he's been. If this stuff has been happening since '89, and what's Alex photo? Wow. Alex's work was last year. 3 years ago. Songbird was it 3 years ago? So anyway, that's kind of where we get it. So what's happened now is Magnum have taken down their site, but also we get David Allen's work. He's charging $2,500 naked boy in moonlight. Okay, for a single image. Yeah, but Doc has went on and found that there's actually another different position of boy and Harvey closer or cropped. Looks like a shoot. Okay, so poor old Davidson, a bit of sticky wicket there. We go on up and we find that the site has now been closed for maintenance, but reputational damage is done and there's more to come. The tags and the pics give the impression Magnum sell to paedophiles: vagina, vulva, teen, prostitute, breast. Like You couldn't, and I'm going to curse, and you can keep this one in because I'm fucking. You would spit feathers at this. How? Why? 2,500? It's fucking posh pedophiles as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I actually don't get it. But what we have here is really, really nice. Is that Duck has repurposed the Magnum shutting down thing they have on their website, and it says our system is temporarily offline. We got caught selling child abuse images. We expect to be back on shortly, and we'll probably act like nothing happened. Thank you for your patience. It's succinct, and you know what? It's absolutely bang on. And then you go up, and it's you find out you know the structural racism, the huge number of identifiable children forced into sexual abuse, all in the developing world. No US or UK pics. And if you did this in the UK, you'd be arrested. That's a really fair comment. You know what I mean? So there's tons and tons and stuff. Lewis Bush gets into it here, where he's talking about these images should never been made, let alone published. And I hope Magnum remove them. So this is a big name, but they can't be allowed to do it in a way which avoids accountability, which is exactly what this looks like. If the photos are still online when it comes back on, I'll eat my words. Okay, so even Lewis isn't 100% convinced that. And the thing is, I think Magnum, there's people talking about bubbles here. It's a bubble. You know what I mean? Has nobody the sense or the wit or the ingenuity to call somebody up and say, we have really, really fucked up here. Really, like, this makes the power thing look like, Martin.
Nothing.
Like nothing. It couldn't. In fact, it couldn't be better time for dear old Martin, to be honest with you. But what we get
divert attention.
Wow, isn't it brilliant? So here we have Duck 9 hours ago tweeting this here. Journalism, okay. Explosion Larry Lasser, who got 175 years for sexually assaulting child gymnasts, right? And then underneath it says exploitation. Tagging this Alex Ross photo with vagina to 13 to 18 to attract more buyers on the Magnum archive. And it sure as shit is to get more traffic to them. What other reason would it be? It's not titillation. You know what I mean? It's much, much deeper than that. So anyway, Tom then comes on and talks about, they've taken it down. The Guardian are on 2 hours ago, saying that yeah, well, maybe Tom was a bit quicker than that, but anyway, I think it's around 2 hours ago. Yeah, but the thing is, this is these things. I imagine this stuff is so.
I thought they would have had this last week. You broke it before the Guardian.
Why are you surprised about that, Robin? My journalist. Hold on. Maybe this is a new sideways move for me. Maybe I need to put my finger on the pulse of bad news. Okay, so what we get is. Where we are now is that Magnum basically came out. I'll show you they have a statement at the minute. I will put a link to it. A statement from the president. Okay, it's not contrite. There's nothing in it. It's just it's saying about historical images. What Duck's saying is that it's not a historical image. That those children are still alive. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's.
And I'm sorry, but how do you even keyword a historical image vagina?
I know. But listen to this here.
Why do you need to keyword that? If you've already got child sex worker and you're doing it for totally legitimate purposes, why would you use the V word? Why would you use any of those words? You know what? You can do your own editing and you can look through the 150 or 200 images for the image that you're looking for. You don't need to have that keyword in there.
But has nobody sat down and said to Magnum, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about ethics? Has Magnum no money that they can't get somebody in to talk about ethics that to the guy? So whenever people do these stories, that somebody says, well, actually, we can't actually run with that, or here's the parameters. So here's I'll say this is the last thing I'll say.
Or Chris, or are they looking at themselves as a stock house, as a stock agency, a real stock agency? Mm-hmm. You know what? We're just going to flood the market with images. Mm-hmm. We'll keyword them. You guys can use them at your discrepancy. Yeah. You do your own editing. But otherwise, it's just a 100% flooding of everything that was on that roll of film. or that media card.
What I think they'll say, Rob, is that it's journalism, it's photo documentary, and they're just showing what actually happens. Okay, now there's tons of stuff wrong with that I imagine.
Well, I think we talked about this last time.
Yeah,
tons of stuff that's wrong. The stuff that's wrong is anything that goes on behind closed doors. Like that stuff. If that's just wrong to be photographing in the bedroom. With that person standing over the bed and the photographer doing a point of view shot.
But why do they not do it in the UK?
That's wrong.
Why do they not do it in the UK or the US? Why is that not happening?
Yeah.
And these things,
absolutely.
These things are happening, obviously.
No, instead it's happening in a third world country on another continent.
But the third world country still has legalities. Okay, but listen to this here. There's no freedom of expression, okay, in brackets, to abuse children in law. The photos are not historical. Some may be criminal. Some feature children who would be around Caitlin Hughes or Oliver Arthur, who's the new president, age. Questions about David Alan Harvey ignored. So there's a whole ream of questions that people have been sending in stuff, right? So here's a few of them. Okay, I'll not go through them all. Does Magnum acknowledge that creating a sexually explicit image of the children constitutes an act of child sex abuse? Why does Harvey have a photograph of what appears to be a naked child approaching him when he's sitting or lying? Not okay. Why does Harvey think it's appropriate to submit this image to Magnum's archive? Why did Magnum think it's appropriate to include it in its archive? Okay. Has Harvey been suspended from Magnum? I don't want this to be a witch hunt on my behalf, okay? But I think these questions need sure shit to be answered. Is Magnum finally willing to remove hundreds of images of child sex slaves from its archive?
Magnum and Getty.
Yeah.
And Getty.
Listen to this here. Why did Magnum fail to review its archive properly following an outcry in 2017 over its use of an image of child rape to promote a competition? We haven't even talked about that yet. We'll talk about that again.
What was that?
They used it. I'll talk about that, but we're back to our old pal. So I think it's just you're just into a world of fucking shit. And do you know what? Like, to be honest with you, these things that we do, Rob, for me were fairly light entertainment. You know what I mean? It was, it was educational. It was responsive. People could contact us and get involved. And COVID was on, so it was something for us to do, something for other people to watch. And then all of a sudden you hit this sort of stuff, and you're like, Christ Almighty! You know what I mean? It's actually, I can't fathom.
Chris, here, I guarantee you that there is no other photo news channel on YouTube talking about this right now.
Well, can we be sued? I can fucking sue me all. You can't take a knickers of a bare arse, as my granny was.
What can you be sued about? This is all public domain. This is all news.
Well,
we're just regurgitating the news.
You see, if it wasn't,
and giving our own personal comments.
You see, if it wasn't, and in all honesty, you would still say it. You know what I mean? This is stuff that's just
wrong.
It's just
wrong.
It's suspicious. It's wrong. If Magnum just come out and put their hands on the table and said, "Look, we have royally fucked up. There's some process that haven't been followed. There's been,
but it, just like you said, they're going to cover it up. They're going to wash it over.
Listen.
And the president or the CEO of Magnum will get to stay in their position because they whitewashed it all over.
But the thing is,
nobody's going to move. Nobody's going to lose their salaries.
But the thing is, that position is, so flux. Dear old Martin, 2017. Listen to this here. Dear Magnum community, our photographic world is entering an unprecedented period of self-reflection. There you go. Many of us are starting to look at ourselves and our work from points of view that we had previously overlooked. Okay, you can imagine these words heavily. This is written by somebody else. I'm happy to have seen Magnum dedicate time and effort in the past few years to really thinking about who we are and how we represent the world from both sides of the camera. I fully acknowledge that we are on a journey with plenty of roads ahead of us. Okay, goes on and on and on and on. Problematic issues.
And who wrote this, Martin?
No, this is Olivia Arthur. Listen to this here. Recently, we've also been alerted to historical material historical material in our archive that's problematic in terms of imagery, captioning, or keywording, and we are taking this extremely seriously. We've begun a process of in-depth internal review with outside
That was
guidance.
2017.
No, they're doing that. That's 2020.
I thought this was a 2017 letter that was written.
No, this is now. No,
this is now. Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, but thinking this, well, 2017, I don't know if Martin was there or not. I don't care. But it's like, we have this, they've been, recording and commenting on global issues for 75 years. Oh, we're old and wise and, we're so cool. Yeah, they have great, but there's no doubt there's some amazing work. There's lots of amazing work. But if you're not going to stand up and say that it's wrong, then you're tarring everybody. You know what I mean? And I think it's really damning to the people in Magnum who
legitimately
work
hard.
Think of this. Think of the Black Lives Matter, and think of Magnum holding their head up and realizing they'd one person of color, from the UK. So now they've made moves to rectify that, and all of a sudden this shit starts. Those people have just been taken in. How sad's that for them? The beauty of working hard and making, and these people make really good work, really important work, and it's overshadowed by this because again, people aren't holding their hands up and saying we've mucked about and we've messed up. But do you know what? If they said, okay, yeah, it's ridiculous, we are wrong, probably is somebody going to sue them? Is this the problem? Is there a financial implication? Because that's the only thing I can think about. You know what I mean? So,
maybe.
Well,
Maybe somebody in that third world country will come back against it. But
it saddens
me.
Or
maybe it's somebody like the ACLU, that looks at it and goes, "There's a case here, and we'll take it to court."
Well, poor old David Allen.
What? Poor?
No, I don't mean poor. I don't mean poor as in a sense of financially or anything else. But what I mean is, I'm being facetious. But what I'm saying is, he is, he.
Granted,
sure.
listen to this
Someone's
scenario,
going to take
okay, Chris?
for this.
So he's gone to a third world country, a poor third world country, and he's covered this. Mm-hmm. What he thought was a legitimate story. He's going to cover this. He's going to go in depth. He might cross the line. He might come back over the line. He might cross the line again. He's not sure. But he's done all of this work, and he comes back after a year or 2 years or back and forth. He's come back with a massive body of work, and he hands it in to Magnum.
Yeah.
He hands in 20,000 images to Magnum.
Yeah.
Now they're going to do the editing. Now they need to have the conscience.
No, I know. Processes
they need to have the
wrong.
ethics.
Yeah.
They need to look at this. Okay, these are great images. This is not a great image.
Yeah.
This image over here is 100% wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know how we could ever market this image because I don't know how we could market this image. Yeah. This image will never sell.
Do you know what we'll
do?
We'll stick the word vagina on it and 13 to 18 and hopefully a fucking pedo will buy it.
But okay, so then we've got a photo editor.
Yeah.
That needs to have a slap on the wrist or a slap in the cuffs or whatever.
Well, somebody could go to jail over this.
Somebody needs to take responsibility.
Yeah, I don't think, you know what?
Because if it happened in any other field, Chris, if somebody shot a Hollywood movie and they accidentally, had an underage person in a scene of doing whatever that was, not right.
Of course.
Like somebody would pay for it.
Rob, listen.
So why should this not be the same thing?
I've been flat out all week, gone through my images with the Travellers, okay, to reimagine them or reevaluate them with a different, just with a slightly stronger ethical eye on me, just to make sure. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's not the same,
I'm glad I take photographs of landscapes.
It's not the same vibe as this. But what I'm saying is, it's just, if me at 52, who is big news in my own bedroom is doing that, then surely to Christ, Magnum, 75 years in, need to be, in 2017. I'll talk about the 2017 thing next week, and I'll put in, unless something gets hairy, I'll put an end to it. But it's extraordinary news. It's extraordinary news.
Yep, nuts. Well, Chris, so much for the 20 minutes.
How much was that? Oh, was it more?
We're over 30.
No, really?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
But if people don't know, the timestamp it, Rob. If people don't like it.
Yeah. If they don't like it, or if they want to listen to this, because this is the meat of this week's news.
100%.
I mean, getting back to the whole idea of what the weekly dose is, it's about the news that is interesting or important to us. And these two things stand out this week.
Christ,
one for me and one for you. And both for me. I understand both of them, and you probably understand both of them as well.
What do you think of that? Volvo and Volvo. It's like you couldn't make that up, Rob. In fact, that'll be the
Don't put it on the title card.
Don't. I am putting it on the title card.
Don't put it on the title card.
I am putting the title card.
It's underaged. It's wrong.
No,
it's
I don't.
Wrong.
I'm
it's
not saying
no.
But the thing is, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it from that point of view, obviously. But it is. You know what, Rob? You just think to yourself. I would say in about 24 hours, we'll see exactly what the crack is. Now, the Guardian. Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
Somebody can tweet about it, and he has 48,000 followers. But of course, that's not the Guardian with their millions. So we'll see what happens.
Chris, it's been great.
Rob, what were you drinking? You didn't tell me. Let's leave the light note.
Orange juice.
You said it was dark stuff you were pouring in.
Oh, I had some tea.
It's not tea.
Some old tea that I poured into the orange juice.
That's bourbon.
No, it's not bourbon.
It's bourbon. I'm drinking red wine, Rob.
Oh, lucky you. Mr. Hoity-toity fancy pants.
Hoity-toity. Rob, guess what I'm doing? After this.
Finishing off this podcast?
Well, are we over? Are we over my?
Yeah.
Are we? Oh, God. Christ. Okay, Robert. It's been an absolute delight. Let's do one in the studio together so we can look at each other, but we can't have a drink in the studio, or can we?
Maybe next week.
I got a taxi.
Maybe next week.
I'll get a taxi.
Great, Chris. We'll talk to you next week.
You can't see me because I'm doing hand signals. Okay, bud. I'll give you a shout. I'll give you a shout.
All right. Talk to you later.
Bye.